Hi, welcome to Home Rich Studio. My name is Cheryl, and for today's video I have 3 neutral Valentine's Day crafts to share with you that actually could be left out all year. Anyway, I have a lot to share with you, so let's waste no time and just jump right into the video. Okay, number 1. If you make this, here's some pieces you'll need. I have a bunch of scrapbook paper. Matter of fact, I have too much scrapbook paper, so I'm going to try to use it a lot this year. But I do love scrapbook paper. And I have these 2 pieces that coordinate really well. I think they were in a scrapbook. I didn't buy them individually. I have this heart from the Dollar Tree. I don't know if it came on something, but I had it in my stash. I had these little hearts from the Dollar Tree. They come in a huge pack like this. And also from the Dollar Tree, this picture frame. I have some antique wax and some Waverly chalk paint in the color sandstone and some jute. And so now I'm just going to take this whole frame apart. It's plastic, and but it's pretty. There's no glass in there, but I took it all apart because I want to paint the frame in the sandstone here. And by the way, if you were here last video when I made my Valentine's Day pieces and I said I couldn't find my antique wax and I had to open up a new bottle, guess what I found? Like literally the next day, like I said in my last video, right in front of my face, I opened the doors to my paint cabinet and there it was right in front of my face. Oh, even after I organized my craft room. So anyway, and if you haven't seen my video on organizing and a craft room tour, go check it out. I have it last week. I'll try to put it in the description box below. And anyway, as you can see here, I just cut out the paper. I used that back from the picture frame as a template, and I cut out the paper and I just used a glue stick and put it right on there. I'm going to take my brayer, press it in really hard. And then I just cut off the excess here, and then some of that glue, that glue stick always seems to seep out, and I had to wipe off my scissors real quick there, or it would ruin them or make them sticky. And I'm doing the same thing with the heart with the other paper, just tracing it, and I'm going to cut it out. And same thing, I'm just going to put the glue stick all over the heart piece here, the hard heart, and then I'm going to put the paper on top of that. I thought it was easier to put it on that piece as opposed to the paper, and then I don't get my mat all full of glue. And then I trimmed it up. And so now I'm going to paint these little itty bitty hearts. Best way I know how to keep these still so you can paint them is to just throw some tape down there. They don't move at all. It works like a charm. And I'm just going to take this sandstone, which is the same color I painted the frame, and I'm going to paint each one of these hearts. And now I'm going to take the antique wax, and you know these frames have this beautiful decoration in them, so I want that to pop, so I put a little bit of antique wax all over this frame. And then I take a baby wipe and I wipe some of that off. And I did that around the entire frame, the inside and the outside of the frame. And then I threw a little bit of the antique wax also on these hearts so they match the frame. I'm trying to coordinate everything with colors. And now I have this Distress Oxide, and it is in the color of Vintage Photo. Yeah, Vintage Photo. And I'm just going around the heart, trying to get a little bit on that paper. I didn't get on as much as I wanted to, so I took a little teeny brush here, and now I'm just kind of going around the edges. And I do that to the heart as well as I do it to the picture frame piece here as well. And I usually concentrate on putting more on the edges and in the corners and in the creases. And now I'm going to take a piece of jute, and this is a Dollar Tree jute because it's thinner. And I put a piece of tape around there, and I cut off as much as I could. I cut it into a point, and then I twisted it around really hard to make it a really pointy piece of tape. So now I'm going to take these hearts, because they have the hole in the middle of them, and I'm going to run them through the jute. And so now I'm just going to put my frame back together. Watch what I do here. Wait for it. Just wait for it. Something doesn't seem to be adding up here. I wonder what's wrong. Oh, wait, where is the frame? Oh, I left that in there just to tell you, you know, we all make errors. Give yourself some grace. Go for it. I laughed about this. I'm like, that was a goofy little mistake to make. But for a while it baffled me. I didn't know what happened to the frame. I thought maybe I broke it or something. Or not the frame, the I don't even know what you call that piece, but you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, now that I figured all that out, I'm just taking this string of hearts, and I'm going to start by gluing it on the back of the heart here. And now I can pull it straight. And as you can see, I'm going to glue each individual heart on there. I'm trying to make the space equal in between each one of them. But it was easy to glue it on one side and then to glue the jute on the back of the heart on the other side, and then go ahead and glue all the individual hearts down. You don't have to. I think it looks good both ways. I wanted them to be more straight, but they just couldn't be because of the way, but you know, just because of the way that they were laying. But I like it this way. At first I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but I really do like it this way. Turned out super cute. And like I said, this could be a farmhouse piece. You could put it in a tier tray. You can pop it up on a shelf. Super cute. You could put it in a little nook, little corner or something, and it can be left out all year long. And this is probably one of my more favorite pieces. I really do like this. And then I just put a little jute twine bow up there, and then put a little button on top of that. Called it a day. Okay, number 2. And to make something like this, here's what you need, and obviously these are all customizable. I am using stuff that I have in my hoard. I have so much stuff, you guys, and I know I tell you that every video. I'm just picking things out and saying, here, make something with, you know, for Valentine's Day with this. So I had those hearts from the Dollar Tree. I have the moss. I had the little terracotta containers. This is new. I bought this before Christmas at Hobby Lobby. I love this material. I've used it a lot already. I don't use the pit berries, but I did pull them out just in case. And I have my wax here, and I have the dowel rods, and I believe those are from Walmart. And then of course I have my jute and then the sandstone chalk paint. So I didn't realize 2 of the 3 of my pots are cracked. So we're gonna remedy that down the road here. I'll show you what to do. So I put just 1 coat of sandstone on all of those. And now I'm cutting all these apart and trying to take the glue off, and I was gonna do something else, and then there were 4 staples in these. In each heart, 4 staples. That is overkill. I couldn't even hardly get it off. I have this little staple remover. It's like a carpet staple remover, heavy duty one. I got it on Amazon and it is amazing. Anyway, that's what I did, and then I sanded that down because we're going to put material on both sides of these hearts. So I have 3 hearts. 2 are going to be the black and cream colored material, and 1 is going to be the red and cream colored material. So basically I just laid them on there and cut a strip out. I thought that was the easiest way, and then I used that strip as a template and cut 1 piece of red out. So I have 2 of the black and cream and 1 of the red and cream. And you'll see what I'm doing if it doesn't make sense. I'm sure you guys know where this is going though. And I made sure that you couldn't see through it. You couldn't see like that red E through the material, or I would have had to paint them, and you couldn't, so that was great. So what I'm doing is just putting a good coat of Mod Podge on each one of these and then pressing the material down right onto it. So I did the 2, I'll just say black and white, and then the 1 red and white striped one. Now you could Mod Podge both sides and put material on both sides, but I did that to 1 of them, you know, and then let them dry, and it was very difficult to maneuver around and cut it out. So my suggestion, if you make anything like this with material or even paper, is to do one side, let it dry, and then do the other side. Now I'm going to tackle the dowel rods while these are drying. So I'm going to make 2 longer and 1 shorter. The red one is going to go in the middle, and that one's going to be shorter by 1 inch, just 1 inch, just barely, because I don't want these to stick up really high. I wanted them to be down more so. And now I am just taking the wax and I'm just giving it a good coat all the way around. As you can see, I'm showing you there. I put the material on the other side. This is the one that I put the material on at the same time. And yeah, that was just more, like I said, more difficult to cut it out. So if you do anything like this, just do one side at a time. It doesn't take very long for this stuff to dry. And now I'm just cutting them out. And see, like I said, the other one, I had to kind of get under there with the scissors and cut around it, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. Okay, now I have a nail file and I'm just sanding this down. If you do this and you sand it down, you're going to need to make sure that it is very dry, or obviously it will lift up the material. But you can always Mod Podge it back down. Not a biggie. Okay, so I have 2 types of jute. One is from the Dollar Tree, it is thinner. One is from Walmart, and it is just slightly thicker. And I use both of them. I use jute a lot. And I like the thicker one sometimes. Like if you're going to outline something, like I'm going to run a strip of jute all the way around this heart, I like the Walmart stuff better because it is thicker and you get more coverage. The thinner one, I like to make bows, and then like in the first project I showed you, running it through, you know, like for hangers, or running it through the little teeny holes in those little teeny hearts. That worked really well. This thicker one from Walmart wouldn't have worked for that. So I have both of them, but I probably use the Dollar Tree stuff more often. I use it a lot. I mean a lot. But yeah, so I'm doing this to all three of them. And I started at the bottom at the tip of the heart, and then I came all the way around, you know, just probably, you know, in increments so the glue doesn't dry and you can position the rope correctly. And then I started it at the tip there, so you can see you can kind of press them together. Put a little dollop of glue at the end and then smush those together, and you can't even tell that where you started on this. And then I took a lighter and then I burnt off all the little fuzzies. And now I have these little hearts here. I think these are from Hobby Lobby. And I just put one in the middle of each one of these. And then I take the little teeny hearts from the Dollar Tree and then I put a little heart in the middle of the heart. So I have a heart on a heart on a heart. I said I wasn't going to do that in my last video, but this project it worked on. So anyway, I wanted to dirty this up, and I have my good old vintage vintage photo, yeah. And I'm just dirtying this up a little bit. I have this fancy little brush here. I bought it from Michael's. I use it a lot. You just get the tip wet and then you dip it in that, and it works like a charm. And so now I made little bows with the jute, and I put it in the middle there. And now I'm going to come back to the pots. So first, because these are cracked, I wasn't going to do this, but they actually turned out cuter, I think, this way. So I took some material, or actually I took a piece of jute, wrapped it around the top of the pot to see how much material I need, and I just laid that down, and I cut strips the length of the jute. So I knew it would go all the way around the pot, and then I just cut up, I think it was like 1.5 inches up. And these pots are from the Dollar Tree, and those are the tiny ones. They come 3 to a pack, and the bigger terracotta pots come 2 to a pack. And quite often they are cracked or broken, so if you do buy these from the Dollar Tree, make sure you look at them really well, and if you're not sure, take them apart, take the package off, and just tell. That's what I do. I just tell the people, I want to make sure that these are not broken. If they're not broken, I'm not going to buy them, because if I come home and I unwrap them and they're broken, they're just going to come back for a return anyway. That's what I do. So as you can see, I just wrapped the material around here, glued it on with just, you know, my glue gun. And now I'm going to poke it in, but I'm going to put some cuts in here so it all wraps in there nice and even. So I think I cut the material 3 times, and you can see what I'm doing. I'm just pushing that down. It worked out really well. And this is a fun little project to do, and you can make one and it could be a tier tray piece. Again, you could put it you know, on a shelf. These can be left out all year long. I made 3. You know, you only have to make 1. You can totally customize them. And yeah, and then I dirtied it up again, and then I did the pot as well too. I thought the pot needed to be dirtied up with the vintage photo color. And then I put I have the little foam from the Dollar Tree, and I put it in there. And I wanted to make sure, like I said, the 2 black and white ones were taller by like 1 inch, barely 1 inch, and then the red one that sits in the middle was slightly shorter. So I measured them, and I just hot glued the dowel rod on there and then glued it right into the foam. And that foam I did glue into the pot as well. And then I did that to all 3 of them. And then now we're just going to take some moss and we're going to put it in there. I always use something when you put hot glue in there. I always use a spatula. I love it. It's from the Dollar Tree. I use it every time I craft. I use it. And I just poked it in there so I didn't burn my hands. And now we're going to take some more jute because I love my jute, you guys. And I'm just going to make a bow here, so it looks like it's kind of holding the material onto the pot. And I threw some buttons on that too, I believe. Yep, I did. I didn't show you that, but I did. Okay, last but not least, number 3. Okay, so I have this heart frame from the Dollar Tree. This I thrifted. It says $3.99, but I know I didn't pay $3.99. You see, it's filthy dirty too. Ugh, I had to clean it up. But and I have this napkin. I don't know where I got that from. I got it years ago. And I have some ribbon. It almost looks like gauze. It's gorgeous. And then I have some Mod Podge, and I have some ivory chalk paint. Again, I was saying that I thrifted that. It says $3.99 on it, but I got it half off, so it was $2. I always grab these because you can do so much with these pieces. And this is a pretty good sized piece. I think for $2 it's worth it. So I didn't want to see the black and the writing obviously through the napkin, so I put a coat of the ivory chalk paint on it. And then I waited until that dried, and then I put a good coat of Mod Podge on it. And now that is dry. And then if this were a napkin, I would be able to pull off the plies, but there were no plies. So it was almost as thick as paper towel. Actually, it probably was like a paper towel. Maybe it wasn't a napkin. Maybe it was, you know how they sell those hand towels for the bathrooms, the disposable ones, and I think this might even be from the Dollar Tree. I'm not sure. But yeah, there was no ply. So I decided to take my chances and do the parchment paper Mod Podge trick, and it worked like a charm because there was no ply to buckle up. And so now I am just going along the side, and I'm just going to scuff it up here a little bit because I want it to be quite distressed. And then I'm going to distress the whole piece. I left it outside black because I didn't want to paint the whole thing, but I like the sharp contrast, the black and the white. I really do. And the napkin, or this whatever it is, it has gold in it too, and I thought it just really popped with the black and the white. Yeah, and then after I sanded that, it was pretty dirty, so I had to wipe it all up. You're just watching me clean my mat. I try to keep my mat clean. So now I have this heart frame thing from the Dollar Tree. It had a little hanger on it, and I popped that out, threw it in my stash for another day. And I'm trying to frame that rose in the middle there. And there's a bow on the bottom, so I'm trying to frame all that in. And then this is Type Bond glue, quick and thick. And then where that isn't, I put hot glue. And I'm going to frame that rose right in the middle there. Then after I did that, I realized, oh no, I wanted to wrap this around that, and it was already glued on, and if I would have pulled it up, I would have ripped the paper below it. So we're going to fake it. We're going to make it look like it is underneath there. I just took this gauzy ribbon, and I scrunched it up really tight at the end there. And then I put some hot glue on the bottom, and I kind of smushed the hot glue, smushed the ribbon into the hot glue, and tried to push it up underneath that heart as best I could. And then I wrapped it around the back and glued it again. And this actually came with a little bow. Bonus. I don't even know where I got this gauze from. I know I got it on clearance, and I've had it for a while. So I took that bow off the end, and I just glued it on there. And then it looked a little dull, so I took my vintage photo again. There's a theme here. Jute, buttons, and vintage photo. Anyway, I just ran around the edges here. Got the corners a little bit darker, and then I thought that the heart needed a little bit of vintage photo too, so why not? And then I took a baby wipe and kind of blended that in a little bit. And I have this pearl ribbon. It is from the Dollar Tree. It comes in different colors. It's usually out during Valentine's Day. I haven't seen it this year, but I really haven't. I've only been to one Dollar Tree real quick. So I just took a little strand and I just hung it off the end there, and this is what it looks like. And by the way, if you go to the Dollar Tree, their decals and their stickers are a penny now. You have to scan them. They won't tell you about them. Why, I don't know. Some do, but they're a penny. I mean, you can get 100 for $1. So check that out next time you go to Dollar Tree, because this is a whole district thing. Anyway, here is the whole shebang. And here we are again, a quick glance, and then my first Valentine's Day video. This was my second one. My first Valentine's Day video, these are the 3 pieces that I made. I'm just showing you real quick in case you haven't seen it. And that's all I have to share with you today. So I hope that I've inspired you. Remember to subscribe, tap the like button, share, hype, all that good stuff. And like I always say, I'll be back real soon. And until then, have a blessed day. Bye.